A remote forest, a glowing craft, confused soldiers, a government that denies everything. What really happened in Rendlesham Forest over 3 mysterious nights in December 1980? Was it a military experiment gone wrong, or did something from another world make contact? It was a time of paranoia, espionage, and nuclear secrets. The Cold War was in full swing, and the United States had strategically placed air bases across Europe, including RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters, nestled near Suffolk, England. Though officially British bases, they were operated by the US Air Force, and they housed more than planes. According to many, they stored nuclear weapons, despite being on foreign soil. This is the backdrop to what would become one of the most compelling UFO encounters in modern history. It began just after midnight. Security patrolman John Burrows and Jim Penniston spotted strange lights descending into the nearby woods. Thinking it might be a downed aircraft, they ventured into Rendlesham Forest. What they saw defied explanation. A triangular metallic craft hovering just above the ground, emanating a blinding white light. Red and blue lights pulsed across its surface. Penniston later claimed he approached the craft, examined its surface, smooth black glass, and saw symbols, which he described as similar to Egyptian hieroglyphics. As he touched the craft, he said he experienced something extraordinary, a download of binary code into his mind. He quickly wrote it down in a notebook, code that wouldn't be decoded until decades later. Then, without warning, the craft silently lifted off and disappeared through the trees. The base was abuzz with rumours, but it wasn't until the second night that things escalated. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt led a team into the forest after reports of more strange lights. Armed with a Geiger counter, audio recorder, and several men, Holt recorded what would become the infamous Holt tape, an actual live audio recording of their investigation that night. Holt and his men observed beams of light shooting from the object down into the weapons storage area. If true, this would mean that the craft not only appeared to target a nuclear facility, but may have somehow interfered with it. They discovered 3 small triangular indentations in the ground where the craft had allegedly landed. Radiation levels in the area were significantly higher than background levels. Holt later filed a memo titled "Unexplained Lights." It was sent to the British Ministry of Defence and remained buried for years until it was released under a Freedom of Information request. Charles Holt, VO, on 27th December 80 at approximately 0300 local time, 2 USAF security police patrolmen saw unusual lights outside the back gate at RAF Woodbridge. A strange glowing object was observed. It illuminated the entire forest. This was the first official acknowledgement from a high-ranking officer that something unexplainable occurred. But instead of triggering a deeper investigation, the Ministry of Defence dismissed it as unimportant. In 2010, decades after the event, Jim Penniston came forward with something even more bizarre. Pages of handwritten binary code he claimed to have written immediately after touching the craft. The code, when translated, revealed a chilling message. Coordinates and a phrase, "Exploration of Humanity, 6668100. The coordinates, they pointed to mysterious ancient sites across the globe, including the pyramids of Giza and the Nazca lines in Peru. Skeptics call it a hoax. Believers call it a message. But why would a decorated military officer fake such an elaborate detail and keep it secret for decades? There are many theories. Some suggest a crashed Soviet satellite. Others believe it was a secret NATO aircraft being tested, possibly a stealth drone decades ahead of its time. Still others believe this was genuine extraterrestrial contact, and that the UK and US governments conspired to silence it. Witnesses were allegedly ordered to sign non-disclosure agreements. Some report being debriefed, intimidated, even hypnotized. Interestingly, radar logs for the Bentwaters base during those nights were lost or erased. In the years since, the men involved have stood by their stories. Jim Penniston, John Burroughs, Charles Holt, all continue to insist that what they saw was not of this earth. They told us to forget what we saw. But I remember every moment, every light, every shadow. Burroughs eventually sued the Department of Veterans Affairs for radiation exposure incurred during the incident and won. Why would the US government settle if nothing had happened? Today, Rendlesham Forest is quiet, peaceful even, but beneath the moss and leaves lie unanswered questions, shadows and secrets. The British Roswell, they call it, but maybe it was something more, something darker, something forbidden. What do you believe happened that night in 1980? Military experiment, UFO visitation, or the greatest cover-up in British history? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you've experienced something you can't explain, reach out. Maybe your story is next. Like, subscribe, share, and keep watching the skies, because the truth is never what it seems. Rendlesham is still watching.